Okay, for part two now, we're starting with these absolute value functions. And so they're going to be very similar to the parabolas. It's just it's going to be a V shape. So just to kind of review, so this is absolute value of x. So basically the absolute value of, 2 is 2. The absolute value of 0 is 0. The absolute value of negative 2 is still positive 2 up here. And so we can use those 3 points for our transformations. And so anyways, if you read through the notes here, it's just more basically the same behavior as parabolas as far as when we graph these. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So just to get started, I'll plot those 3 points right there. Okay. And so this plus 4 is just going to tell us to go up 4. And that's going to be about it. So let's see, we go up 4, we end up here. We go up 4, we end up here, here, and then it's just going to be that V shaped. And so just put arrows on the end, and there you go. Okay, on this next one, you've got the plus 4, but it's inside the absolute value, inside the operation. So once again, you're going to do the opposite of what you think. And so instead of going right, you're actually going to go left 4 units. So once again, you can kind of put those first couple there if you'd like. And so we're going to go left 4. So left 4 puts us here, left 4, and left 4 puts us on top of one of those original points right there. You know, draw like this, and done. That's it. Okay, so then this next one has a little combination. So we have the left 4 again, but then we're going to go down 2. There we go. All right, so we can put those points to get started right there. So let's see, left 4, down 2. Left 4, down 2. Left 4, down 2. So that's where our new graph is going to be. All right, there you go. So hopefully you were kind of catching on at this point. The main thing is just recognizing, am I dealing with the parabola, absolute value, the square root function, and we still have a couple more to look at after this one, 2 more. All right, so this one, this one we throw a negative out in front of it. And so once again, remember we do horizontal transformations first. So we're going to go left 4, and then this is going to cause us to go across the x axis. So we can plot those first couple points. Okay. So we're going to go left 4, and then flip across. Left 4, and you're on the line of reflection, so you stay where you're at. Left 4, and then we go across, and we end up down right here. And so this time we open upside down, and what caused that was that negative sign in front. All right, we got 2 left. So once again, this, as you can see, every single one of these typically is going left 4. And then this time, instead, our y value is going to double. Okay, so our y value is going to double. So start out with those points again. And so we'll go left 4, and then my y value was 2, and we'll double up to 4. Left 4, and then doubling 0 stays at 0. Left 4, and then you double the 2 up to a 4. And there we go. All right. Last one of this type, and we've got all 4 transformations taking place here. So horizontal goes first. So left 4, then any stretching. So then we're gonna double double the y value, okay? And then we're going to go across the x-axis, and then we're going to go up 1 unit. So quite a bit going on, but you know, if you look at this, and like I said, you know, every single one of these, they're not all that different in terms of figuring out the transformation. And once you figure it out, you just take these points and follow these directions. So go to the left 4, double the y value, which takes us up to 4. Then we go across, which takes me to -4 down here, but then I go up 1, so I end up right here. Okay, same thing on this one. So let's see, left 4. I double the y value. Well, I'm already at 0, so I stay at 0. Go across the x-axis. Well, I'm on the x-axis, so I stay there, and then I go up 1, so I end up right there. Okay. The third point that we're going to look at, we go left 4, double my y value, so I go from 2 to 4, reflect across the x-axis, so I end up down here at -4, but then I go up 1 as my last part of that transformation. And there we go. All right. So, moving on, we're going to look at these two last ones. It's going to be the cubic function and then the cube root function. And so they're actually inverses of each other. So kind of like the parabola, the x squared, the only thing is if you're cubing it, if you cube a negative, it stays negative. So like right here, if you take -2 and raise it to the third power, it's going to be -8. And so they're using these 3 points, and we could use those 3 points if we want. Or if you want, we could use 1, 1 and -1, -1 also. That might be just easier to use those points, to be honest. But it's up to you how you want to do it. I'll probably do a little bit of both. And so you can see their transformation here was to cut the y values in half. And so you can see that happened on their graph right here. So when you draw this, the best way to kind of think about this is draw a parabola going up and then the other one part of it going down. And so, all right. So I think I only got 3 of these for us to do. And for some reason, I gave a whole lot of space, which I don't think we really needed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rewrite some of this stuff down below so we can see it and then graph it. So let's see, this one was x cubed minus 3. This is -x cubed. And let's see, this is x minus 3 to the third power plus 2. So screwed up on the notes there. I didn't need so much room. Okay. So looking at this first one, it should be pretty obvious that we're going to go down 3. And so I'm going to plot a couple of these points of the original one. So I'm plotting quite a few of them. So that, and all the way down to -8. So if you cube -8, -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. Anyway, so it should look like this, but we're moving all our points down 3. So this guy goes down 1, 2, 3. This one's going to go down 1, 2, 3. Same thing with this one, and that one. And then this last one actually kind of ends up off the graph slightly. And so we'll just draw this like this. There we go. And there you go. As long as you get the general shape and you're in the right place, it's fine. And I think on the computer you have to graph these. And so the trick is just, you know, I think you just need to get these 3 points in the middle when you're graphing it. And I think you should be okay. You might just have to play around with it a little bit. If you're getting really frustrated, just email me and I'll help you out. out or whatever. All right. So then this next one's kind of interesting because um, basically all your results, whatever the function was, I don't know what it was, but anyways, f of x, I'll call it. Basically all your y values are going to come back the opposite of what you were expecting. And so if you remember, that's going to be we're going to go across the x axis. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So you don't have to do all 5 points like I did on the first one. If you just want to stick with the 3, that's fine. Just realize that, it's, curved, just don't forget about that. So sometimes putting the 2 and the 8 and the -2 and the -8 kind of reminds you of what it looks like. So it's kind of up to you. And really, honestly, the worst case scenario when you're taking the exam is you just need to start plugging points in. That's the worst thing that would happen. And it's a little bit more time consuming, but honestly, you could have just started plugging in -2 and -1, 0, 1, 2, and you would end up with the same graph. But the idea is these transformations will save us a lot of time if we can just get those down. All right, last one of this type. I didn't really give too many of these. And then we'll look at the inverse of this, which is the cubic, which is very similar to these. They're just going to be on their sides. So let's see. This right here, it looks like we're going to go to the right 3, and then we're going to go up 2. Make sure I got everything written down. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. So we'll put a couple of guiding points. So let's see here, here, and here. And so let's see, to the right 3, up 2, to the right 3, up 2, to the right 3, up 2. And then you just, you got to remember what this looks like. And so it's like half a parabola going up, half of a parabola going down, kind of like that. Okay. All right, so I think we're on to our last slide with these. And so this is going to be our cube root function, which I mentioned is the inverse, which it is. And so this is kind of like, it's going to kind of look like the square root one, except that it's going to have a little tail to it also, because you can cube root negative numbers. So see, you can take the cube root of -8, that would give us a -2 in return. So we can do that, that's fine. And they had showed the transformation that if you throw a negative in front of it, then it's going to, reflect across the x-axis, which you can see. So anyways, all right. So for some reason, I forgot these graphs didn't come up very good on this screen here. On the printout of the notes, it should have if you printed those out. By the way, the points we might want to use, if you cube root 1, you're going to get 1. So there's a point at 1, 1. And then also if you do one at -1, you're going to get -1 if you cube root it. So we might want to use those points. Now just be careful, they're the same exact points that we had on the previous slide. Except that instead of like going like this, which I'm going to erase in a second, instead of doing that, it goes out to the side. And so you just need to make sure you keep those straight. So, you might want to use these points that are further out if you really want to, just to be a little extra safe. Okay. So here we go. This first one, we're just going to go up 2. And sorry that this graph does not look that great. So let's see. We got a point. You know what? I might actually be able to pull this up on Word. That might make life easier. Let me see if I can do that. Let's see. I think it'll look a lot better on that document. Yeah, I can do that. Here we go. All right, here we go. Oops, too far. All right, nope, perfect. Okay. So on this one, let me enlarge this a little bit so we can Let's see a little bit better. On this one, we're going to transfer up 2 units. Now you can see the graph looks a lot better. So let's see, go to my pen tools. Here we go. So our original points, we have one here. Let's see, at 1, 1, at -1, -1. So we're going to move all these points up 2 units. So 1, 2. See, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it moves up to here. And then almost kind of like the square root function, it actually doesn't rise quite as fast because you're cube rooting it instead of square rooting. And I mean, mine's not perfect, okay, but it's a general sketch right there. Pretty good. All right, let's try another one. So right here you have the +2 inside, so that means we're going to go to the left 2. So once again, we'll plot these points to give us an idea of where to move them. And so we're all going to move them to the left 2. So there we go, there we go. And then once again, draw it kind of curving up like this. Pull it curving down like that, and there we go. That's fine. All right. Okay, this next one here, what we're going to do here is we're going to go left again. So we can go left 2, and then we're going to cut y in half. Okay, so once again, we could plot those 3 guiding points. And so let's see, we're going to go up left 2, and then cut in half. So left 2, and then we cut down to the halfway mark. Left 2, and if you cut 0 in half, you're still at 0. Left 2, and you cut -1 in half, you go to a -0.5. And so that's where we end up. And so what happened here is now we're going to be rising at a slower rate. We're already rising really slow. But we're going to rise even slower now because of that 1/2 in front right there caused that to happen. All right, try zooming in a little bit more so you can see a little better. There we go. All right, I think I've got 3 left. Let's knock these out. All right, so this one right here, we're going to go to the left 2. We're going to cut y in half again. And then we're going to go down 2. And remember, the order matters. So horizontal shift, any stretching or shrinking, any reflections, we didn't have any of those. And then vertical shifting. Okay, so we'll start right here, here, and here. All right, so here we go. We're going to go left 2, cut y in half. So now we're at 0.5. Be careful on the scaling. So we're at 0.5, and so we're going to go down 2 units. So if we're at 0.5 and you subtract 2, you're going to go to -1.5. So that's actually going to put us right there. Okay, then the center point, we're going to go left 2, cut 0 in half, you're still at 0, and then go down 2 units. So we're going to end up right there. Then our last point, we go to the left 2, cut y in half. Right now we're at -1, so we actually go to -0.5. But then if we go down 2, we're going to basically you're subtracting 2, you're going to go down to -2.5, which would be right there. And so go ahead and draw this. And so once again, it kind of got squeezed a little bit there. Oops. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, 2 to go. Okay, let me see. Scrolling. Giving me some issues. Let me pause this and try to fix it. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do here is we got two transformations. First, we're going to go left 2, and then we'll go across the x axis. All right, so we'll plot those starting points. And so we're going to go left 2. And across the x-axis, which is kind of interesting, I actually end up on that third point there. Left 2, across the x-axis, I'm already on it, so I don't go anywhere. Then this one that I actually kind of covered up, left 2, and then I pop up. So that reflection is going to cause us to look a little different than the other ones. I mean, it's the same basic shape, but now, there we go. But now one of them is going going to the left, I go up, and going to the right, I go down now this time. There we go. All right, last one. Thank goodness. Okay, here we go. Okay, this one's kind of interesting. We haven't had a lot of these. Okay, so first we got to deal with going to the right 2, and then that negative in front is going to cause us to actually go across the y-axis. Okay, so once again, we'll plot those starting points right there. And so let's see, right 2, and then I actually gonna pop all the way over to -3 because I go across the y-axis this time. So my basically your x value is the opposite now. Then let's see, this point I go to the right 2, and I pop over 2, go to the right 2, and then I actually end up right where I was. It's kind of interesting. All right, and so then when we graph this, we kind of go down like this. It's like a parabola on its side, kind of going down like that. And then we have one going up on its side like that. And there we go. All right, I know this stuff can kind of be challenging, but just get some practice in and you'll be fine.